It's time to dive beneath the surface and into the minds and hearts of your favorite celebrities and pop culture icons. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hey guys, what's up? You're watching Up and Adam. My name's Adam Knoll. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm the guy bringing you guys all the weekly interviews and recaps from your favorite celebrities and pop culture influencers. But for those of you who do know me, you know that that's not why we're always here, right? Guys, today's one of those days. But before we get started, if you haven't already, go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell, which is so important because you guys don't want to miss anything we have coming up. With that being said, let's jump right into it. All right, guys, so I know you remember the OG of the OC, Real Housewives of Orange County, former castmate, but she technically did start the franchise, seasons 1 through 14, Vicki Gunvalson. Vicki Gunvalson has spoken out here recently on David Yontief's Behind the Velvet Rope, and she has a lot to say. She talks about the reason she was allegedly taken off of the cast, what producer that she's calling a snake had her do on her last season, what happened to her marriage with Don Gunvalson, and an affair. This is actually really interesting, but I don't know where to begin, but I'm going to start. Okay, guys, so I'm going to start with this alleged snake producer. So Vicki Gunvalson pretty much told David, and now the rest of the world, since it's out there, that there is a producer to blame, most likely for the reason that she was fired from the show. She said this producer, it was hidden secret that this producer did not like her and she did not like him. She said that he was an absolute snake in the grass. She said for some reason he went around and did what most producers do, which is created storylines out of made up conflict. He went around and would go have castmates say certain things about Vicki and try to stir the pot just to obviously add content to the show. Now, when did this start? I know, great question, right? It started 2 years ago. Vicki said that there's a producer that's currently on the cast the last 2 years that does not like me. She said, I think that he's a snake in the grass, and I feel like that he is always stirring up conflict that's not real conflict. Pretty much stirring the pot, again, just to have a show. She then went on to say that from there, her and him had it out, and she's pretty sure that he went back to Bravo and said, obviously she's not easy to deal with, let's get rid of her. You know how this works. She said it was because she saw through his BS every time. She would pretty much ask him, why are you telling this woman to say stuff about me? Or why are you stirring this for no good reason? Again, Vicki Gunvalson, he is a producer, which means he has a job to do. As unfair as that sounds, it's still a reality show, and unfortunately, you signed up for it. Obviously, this is no hidden secret, but the first season that Braunwyn came onto the show, she came over and visited Tamra Judge, well, everyone at Tamra Judge's party. And there was stuff that went down that wasn't on camera. Now, guys, if you remember, Vicki always called Braunwyn everything but her name. Actually, the most notorious name that she would call her was Braunwyn. She was good at that. She did that to a few former castmates, especially Lizzie, Izzy, Gizzy, Elizabeth. Remember, she used to make fun of her. And I think there are a couple other ones to add to the list, but that's not important right now. What I did want to say is that she came out and said on David Yontief's podcast that this day, the day that was filmed, where if you guys remember Kelly Dodd, they were all looking at the photo or the video where Kelly Dodd was making the pig face, had the pig face emoji, and she was calling Vicki pretty much a coward and a lot of other words, but I'm not going to use them here. She said that that day, Braunwyn was told by the producers to go after Vicki. Braunwyn was pretty much led into the direction of stirring the pot by manipulation of the producers, and Vicki had a lot to say about that. She said that once she found out about the producer pretty much stirring the pot, that she came over to the producer, grabbed him by the earlobe, stuck him up against the wall, and said, "What the heck are you doing?" She said, "I'm quote unquote a friend this year, and you're going to do this to me the first time everybody gets together, F you." She then went on to say that she was livid. Vicki Gunvalson said about the producer that he's not a good guy, and when you have a producer like that, you just really don't want to go out of your way to give them your all. After that, David asked another great question, which was, what do you regret most about the show? Vicki said that, honestly, for her, she felt like her biggest regret was falling prey to a divorce. She said at the time she thought she had it all. She had the celebrity. She had people walking up to her, noticing her, and that's obviously life-changing. And mind you, she did do this for 14 seasons. But a hard pill to swallow is the fact that she said she knows for a fact, had she not have been a part of the show, she would have never gotten divorced. She said that once she started traveling and working and traveling as much as she did and still does, you disconnect from the person that you love. Well, at least she did. She disconnected from Dawn Gunvalson, and she said what the worst part is, the most hurtful part is, she was the one who had the business. So when they split the assets, she had to continue to pay him alimony. She paid a big chunk out to Dawn Gunvalson after this, but also, just to be fair, she strayed. She strayed, and that's where Brooks Ayers comes into play. And if you guys remember him, he was the one who famously on the Real Housewives of Orange County faked having cancer. She said that her love tank was not full. In fact, that it was empty. When she was traveling over to Atlanta, here comes this nice Southern gentleman who said all of the right things and swooned her and honestly made her cheat on her husband. That's how their relationship started, which we all obviously know that when you start a relationship like that, that's not a great way to go through life or a relationship, because if she would have ended up marrying Brooks and he wasn't this guy who is manipulating the system technically with his false medical records and everything else that ended up being aired on the Real Housewives of Orange County, if she would have actually married this man, then she would have felt the same way, the same thing. Like, she would have thought that, hey, you know, if we did this together, maybe you could have the ability or the potential to do it in the future to me. She said it became like she would wake up in the morning, wouldn't call her husband. Then from there, she would go to meetings, not call her husband, go to dinner, and then go out with everybody until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and party, still not call her husband. And after one day of doing it, one day became 2 days, 2 days became 3 days. And then it became this kind of cycle to the point where she finally got home and she felt like he was a complete stranger. Now, if you guys remember, this also did play out on the Real Housewives of Orange County. It's actually kind of giving me like flashbacks to the fact that this woman had a lot of her life on television. No wonder it was so hard during the season 14 reunion when they didn't immediately have her on the couch and she freaked out screaming at everybody from the dressing room, telling them to get out of the room and saying, "Are you serious?" That was probably, or maybe it was even the same producer who was having them do that there when they were filming the reunion. I'm not sure. I am so curious though, because again, since this was a huge part of her life, a lot of people think that all good things do come to an end, and people were sick of Vicki Gunvalson being a part of the show. They think that her ego got absolutely ridiculous and nobody wanted to watch her anymore. But now after watching this season, season 15, that Kelly Dodd did say was going to be an Emmy award-winning season, which it wasn't. It actually had the lowest ratings of all of the Real Housewives of Orange County seasons. Just saying, Kelly Dodd, sorry. Would you guys want to see her come back? Now, the rumor is that Tamra Judge will be back in some capacity, whether it's a full-time housewife or a friend. I'm seriously doubting the fact that she would take the friend role, only because that's the reason she quit. She wasn't fired from the show. Vicki was fired from the show. Tamra was then offered a friend role, a reduced role, and she said no. She said, "You can take that reduced role and stick it in your..." Whoa, we don't talk like that here. But now everyone's saying that because the ratings were so low and they need more drama, they need substance to add to the show, that Tamra Judge will be coming back. Mind you, again, I've already said this, but Tamra's friends with Braunwyn. She's friends with Gina. Kelly Dodd even said she would welcome the idea of having her back, and I think that that's exactly what we're going to get. Also, don't forget, though, Braunwyn has caught herself into a little bit of a controversy here lately, because as we saw last week on the reunion, part 1 of season 15, Shannon had a secret. And Shannon's secret was pretty much the fact that she was holding inside that she knew Braunwyn allegedly offered her daughter some sort of substance. People are speculating, saying that it is booger sugar, the white powder. Kelly Dodd said it's Molly water, whatever that is. And I think what everybody is just assuming it's not is probably MJ. Regardless, we're going to find out this Wednesday, and I think I can say this as a fan. We're all ready to know what it is. The suspense and the cliffhanger of leaving us at that point in the reunion, not letting us know what's happening, and hearing from so many different people, whether it's Shannon, Kelly, Braunwyn, that it wasn't actually the white powdery substance that we all know to be an illegal narcotic. we just don't know what to believe anymore. However, what we do know is that if Vicki Gunvalson were to be offered a reduced role, a friend role, she would absolutely come back, especially if Tamara was filming too, because like they've said in podcasts before and interviews, this was such a big part of their life and they miss it. Unfortunately, if this is true, Shannon and Kelly said that Braunwyn at the beginning of season 15 said she had been filming for quite some time at that point and that they were doing the casting around her. If they're doing the casting around her, though, Vicki Gunvalson would obviously not be a friend of hers. But there is a connection here. Braunwyn has a good friend, Noella Bergner, that we just saw on this season. She comes in, she has a private jet, she's very, very rich, she's beautiful, and she's not only friends with Braunwyn, she's also friends with Vicki. One person who's friends with both and both of them don't like each other? Now, that could actually make for a good storyline. If, in fact, Braunwyn's even invited back after this whole big scandal that has just recently come out on TV. I mean, you can't go around and allegedly solicit illegal substances to a minor and still think that you're going to get a platform. I've said this so many times, guys, that Bravo is still a business. This network does have to uphold some sort of integrity, and they can't just go around and let people get away with stuff like this. It doesn't matter if you're a housewife that brings the drama to a show that is really not that interesting anymore or not. It just pretty much means that somebody needs to be held accountable. So we're going to have to see how this plays out. Guys, I'm so curious, and if you haven't already, go ahead and answer. But do you think that the snake producer was the reason that Vicki actually did get fired from the show? Are you buying this, or do you feel like she was just phased out and she's bitter? People are divided on this, and I'm curious what you guys think because I love and respect your opinions and your comments so much. I honestly read all of them. But go ahead, let me know, comment. And would you guys be willing to lose Braunwyn or even keep Braunwyn and bring back Vicki Gunvalson? Do you think that would make for a great season? Mind you, also, if Vicki Gunvalson comes back, she's not friends with Kelly Dodd, so this could be interesting. But we all do know that she has calmed down a whole lot since she has gotten with her latest man, Steve Lodge. And, you know, if she's not bringing it like that, then what can we say? Guys, again, if you haven't already, go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell because you guys don't want to miss anything we have coming up. Until next time, bye, guys.
Thanks for watching Up and Adam.